Stay with us as we move on to another update from West Asia. And Israel says the passage of Palestinians through Gaza's Rafah crossing is expected to only begin on the 2nd of February. Today, the crossing between Gaza and Egypt was reopened for tests and security assessments, but no residents were allowed to pass. A Palestinian delegation, along with dozens of ambulances, entered Gaza from the Egyptian side as part of the preparations. Israel says this limited pilot phase is coordinated with Egypt and the European Union Border Assistance Mission. Full movement of people will start after all security checks are complete. The reopening follows a ceasefire under a US-backed plan to halt the war. However, the crossing will only allow people to pass, not aid, even as humanitarian groups warn that Gaza remains in desperate need of supplies. Ali, why only a partial reopening, and why not a full one as promised in the first phase of the ceasefire?
Thomas, it's worth mentioning that the situation in Gaza, especially the ceasefire between Gaza and Israel, is still fragile, and the situation is volatile. Yesterday, Israel have been killed and more than 30 civilians from Gaza, among them also a policeman in Sheikh Radwan neighborhood. So the thing is about the reopen the border. It's, in my opinion, this is after the pressure from Witkoff and Donald Trump, because it's supposed to be reopened during the first phase of negotiation or the ceasefire deal between Hamas and Israel in October 2024. So the things 2025, sorry. So the thing is, Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu used to buy the time and delay to reopen it until analysts Hamas return the last death body of the captive in Gaza, but that also today reopening the border and humiliate the civilians, because there is a surveillance from the border, and Egypt should be submit a list for the Israel about the people who's going to move from Gaza, either they are in or out Gaza. More than 150 people who are supposed to leave Gaza and 50 civilians from outside Gaza to have a right to return to Gaza. This is the limitation of number. It's showing how much Israel trying to humiliate civilians in Gaza and trying to treating the civilians in Gaza as an animal. And this is clear. Naftali Bennett, when the Israeli Yoav Gallant, during the first day of the war, he said we are fighting a human animal. So they are treating the civilians in Gaza as a human animal. More than 200,000 civilians in Gaza have been injured during the war in Gaza, and they are waiting for the treatment journey outside Gaza, because there is no doubt about the medical service in Gaza have been damaged and collapsed during the war, and there is at least around 5 only hospitals in the old Gaza Strip. It's working up to now, and there is a shortage in medicine. All of these 200,000 of civilians wait for reopen the border in Gaza to go out for the treatment journey, but give limitation of the civilians. And I guess this is the basic and fundamental human rights about the mobility and the right of mobility to go wherever you want. Israel tried to create a chaos in Gaza, but reopening the border at this time exactly, it sparks several of a question. Is that America pressurized Israel? That's mean America and Israel disagree in this page about the border in Gaza and about the future of Gaza? Or this is one of the plan that between Israel and America, because they are aligned with these kind of cases in Gaza. But the thing is also the future, the second phase of negotiation of the deal between Hamas and Israel about lie down Hamas, disarm Hamas. And about the reconstruction in Gaza. It's not related only the case of Gaza, it's related to the border, reopening the border or close the border. Because since the past 2 years, Israel have been closed the border between Gaza and Egypt. So the thing is, it's about the huge, challenge facing the second phase of negotiation of the deal between Hamas and Israel. It's reconstruct Gaza, about the civilians who's waiting for reopening, to reconstruct and find a shelter of their themselves. This is a huge challenge, and about the future of the ceasefire between Hamas and Israel, because we have seen Egypt deeply past and condemned Israel's attack yesterday, and also Qatar, Turkey, most of the mediator lambast Benjamin Netanyahu's decision to attack Gaza yesterday. Despite that, up to now, it's a silent war in Gaza. It's not like before. So the same things happen in Lebanon. Today, they are attacking South Lebanon, and there is yesterday it was one civilians have been killed, and today there is some people injured. So Israel happy with this situation, neither war nor a peace in all the area, Lebanon, Syria, Gaza. So the thing is, Benjamin Netanyahu is flexing his muscle in the Israeli community, that despite he failed in Gaza, the aim of the war in Gaza is to erase Hamas. Hamas still exists in Gaza, and return the captive.
Yes. Ali, apologies. We are running out of time. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining us. It's always a pleasure to get your insight on these issues.